If you need level 40, unlimited, limited, clutch time, domination, triple threat, or anything else on your 2K account grinded, contact Rose NBA on Twitter and let them know X sent you. You are the best small forwards tier list. Let's get into it. So we get everybody here. We're all ranked. I'm just gonna do the typical spiel that I do in the beginning. They're not ranked left to right, and everybody's a primary position. So if they're a power forward right now, like the one everybody's gonna talk about, Tim Thomas, he is on the power forwards list because he's a primary power forward. He's not gonna be on the small forward, but you should run him at the small forward. It's just easier to organize things this way. So we got the hard pass tier, nothing really of note. We got Jalen Rose, Bonzi Wells, Tim Hardaway Jr., Kevin Knox, and Kenny Walker. They're just new cards. I need somebody to put in the hard pass tier. Like they're decent enough. They're just not great. Then we got the still decent, which has guys like Grant Hill, Fred Jones, Danny Granger, Chuck Person, Osumang Dang, Luka, Doug McDermott, Ruben Patterson, and Paul Pierce. So with Grant Hill, actually a pretty good stats-wise card, just doesn't really have the badge to back it up. Literally every one of his badges is bronze. Fred Jones, I've just never been a fan of. He's like the default swing jumper. There's like default swing and default small. I think he has swing. Either way, I was not a fan of Fred Jones from like the minute that we had him in the game. I got him, no thanks. Danny Granger, he's all right. Nothing really to write home about. And same thing with Chuck Person. Like he's good all around. He's just nothing insane, man. Like nothing insane. Dang is actually crazy because he is a 6'10" like playmaking power forward, small forward. The problem that I just didn't really like with him is I think he's just bang on average in everything but his playmaking. And his finishing is good just because he's tall, but his jumper's just too slow to get off, so I just couldn't put him up higher. This Luka Doncic, in my opinion, was just underwhelming. I just didn't really feel like he did anything well, in my opinion, and then has no defense. Doug McDermott was just a slightly worse version, at least in my opinion, of a guy that I had a pretty damn solid, who's also an Evo, so I just didn't think I put him on the same tier. But when Doug does get that Evo done, insane shooter, insane finisher, he's super fast, and his playmaking is all right, just literally no defense. Ruben Patterson's on the exact opposite. Guy's a pretty good finisher and great defender, but his shooting just doesn't come with enough badges, at least in my opinion, to be great. And then Paul Pierce, Lord have mercy, probably the slowest jumper that I've used so far in my team this year. Like, yo, it is bad. But he's a decent card if he is wide open. But I mean, like, it doesn't happen too often because it's easy to close out on him. Pretty damn solid. It's starting off with guys like Franz Wagner, Elgin Baylor, Duncan Robinson, Bruce Bowen, Jalen Williams, Jimmy Butler, Taylor Horton Tucker, Joe Ingles, RJ Barrett, Danilo Gallinari, Royce O'Neal, Kiki Vandeweghe, and Keldon Johnson. So Franz Wagner is actually pretty crazy. The guy's got defense. His shooting's pretty good, and his jumper's actually pretty smooth as well. His finishing's actually nice, and he had a little bit of playmaking. Like, he's actually a pretty good guard. I'm not gonna lie. Like, he's nice. Elgin is just too undersized, I think, to play the three. Like, he's like 6'7" or 6'6" or something like that, 6'5", something like that. And it's not great. If he would be better as a 2, better as a 1, honestly. Like 2K19, he had that opal and everybody ran him at point guard. It was really good. But aside from that, Duncan Robinson, actually pretty good. They did give him some defense, and he does have a pretty nice jumper. It takes a little bit to get into it, if we're being honest, but it is actually pretty good. Bruce Bowen is a nice 3-and-D guy. Literally has no anything outside of that, but is really good at that. Jalen Williams, actually pretty good. I was surprised looking at this card. I don't think he's like insane by any means, but he is a solid all-around guy, especially if you run him as a secondary position, which is shooting guard. Same thing with Jimmy Butler. This guy's crazy. I think you should evo him for shooting, so you have a nice 3-and-D card. But for a starter, he easily was the best one, especially because his jumper, it's awkward, man. I don't know why he leans back so much, but it's money. Taylor Horton Tucker, pretty decent all-around card. I mean, honestly, was a god on the offensive end, which he's just good. Not bad at all, but he is also undersized like Elgin. Joe Ingles has a really awkward, really not great jumper, if I'm being honest. And he has the normal dribble style, which is why I couldn't put him higher, but he is insanely athletic after the Evo. His shooting is still pretty good, although, again, that jumper. And he actually has defense, which is why I put him above Doug McDermott, because they're virtually the same card, except Joe Ingles does have that defense. RJ Barrett's pretty good playmaker. I just don't love his like size of escape. I think it's like Luka or something like that. He just jumps back too far, in my opinion. It doesn't help him out as much, but a good 3-and-D guy that has some playmaking, who can be a primary ball handler at your shooting guard, which is also really nice. Danilo Gallinari is an all offensive kind of small forward, power forward, and that's personally not what I like. I like my small forward, power forward, kind of have that defense and just be able to play it like that, but it's kind of all up to you. Royce O'Neal is a pretty good, just kind of jack of all trades card, but does have Hall of Fame Diamond, which is pretty nice. I wouldn't recommend actually running the ball with him because I think he has like the basic dribble style, which is why he's in pretty damn solid. But all around is a pretty good card, especially like defense, playmaking. That's what you're looking for. He's got it. Kiki Vandeweghe, bit of an awkward jumper. He has a default small. Whichever one Fred Jones has, He has the opposite one between small and swing. I think it's small though with Kiki Vandeweghe, which just isn't insane. And Kiki also just doesn't have defense. I wish we could go like throwback 2K19, like point guard Kiki, who was just going crazy with base 11. But sadly, we don't have that right now. And then Keldon Johnson's up here as a nice Ruby, as just a good all-around card, especially for a free moments card. Really, really nice, and he fits basically on any limited squad. If you have this Keldon Johnson, like for limited, he's like in Demons tier. He's great. And then we got the baby demons here, starting off with Darius Miles, Mikal Bridges, Karis LeVert, Anthony Edwards, Andrew Wiggins, Alex English, Zaire Williams, Chris Middleton, Vince Carter, Sadiq Bey, Richard Jefferson, LeBron, and Kawhi. So, some pretty good cards. Darius Miles did just come out 6'9", I think like a 7-foot wingspan as well. Really good card. Has the Brook Lopez base. Basically just a taller version of Elgin. Doesn't have clamps, but has other things on defense that make him really good. And is a crazy good slasher. And with how insane it is, just getting to the basket and dunking on people, Darius Miles has a place on some squads. But the lock-in, I don't really know. Mikal Bridges is just somebody who you want on your team if you want to abuse the hell out of steals. Again, expensive to get, but has like Hall of Fame interceptor and glove, which is just crazy. A super high steal, a massive wingspan, and is 6'6". Play a small forward is actually pretty good. Karis LeVert, I was surprised at how good he was. Like, literally is absolutely cracked at everything, if we're being honest, in the game, which I just didn't expect. And he's 6'6" with a 6'10" wingspan, which just helps him be all around pretty good. I wish he had an Agent 3s, but a guy who has the defense he has, the playmaking he has, the MJ dribble style, the crazy finishing, and can still shoot really well, he had to be up there in the A tier. And then we got Anthony Edwards, who is just kind of just a jack of all trades shooting guard. He's just kind of pretty good at everything. Same thing with Andrew Wiggins. Even comes with silver anchor. So if you wanted to run a small ball 4, Wiggins is really, really good for that. I think in general, this Wiggins gets a little bit slept on, but he is a great card. Alex English, surprisingly good shooter for having a 63. His finishing is nice. His playmaking is crazy. He's basically just a better finishing Carmelo Anthony, which is still a really good card. Zaire Williams is probably the best one of these like Ruby to Diamond Evo glitch cards that we've got in the game, which is saying a lot because we have a lot of good ones. Williams 6'9", 6'10" wingspan. When you get his Evo up, he now gets a 91 shot 3 with Hall of Fame catch and shoot, several limitless, limitless takeoff, and post riser. So limitless range and limitless takeoff. Already has great defense, and the guy's got a pretty decent jumper with the pro dribble style if you need it. He's a good card, man. Chris Middleton gets a boost, at least in my opinion, recently because he now has an Evo with Diamond Giannis, who I kind of view as one of the best budget cards that dropped recently. He's a little bit expensive, but if you take that Diamond Giannis and boost him up with Chris Middleton, in that dynamic duo, both of which aren't too expensive, you now get a Giannis who is basically equal to his Pink Diamond. Like a few stats are off, only like 50 or so, but basically has all the same badges as that Pink Diamond Giannis, which is crazy. And then Middleton himself gets a little bit better. You know, he gets Hall of Fame Interceptor and Challenger, which is really good. Gold Unpluckable, Killer Combos, Hyperdrive, Ankle Breaker, like things like that. Really, really good. His jumper, it's not the greatest in the world, but it's definitely not bad. And as you heard, he's got great defense, especially when you give him that Hall of Fame Challenger. All around a really good card. And I think because of that duo, at least in my opinion, he moved from the pretty damn solid he was before up into the baby team. Then we got Vince Carter. If you want to be one of those people who just kind of like holds triangle and dunks on everybody as for backdoor cuts, Vince Carter is literally perfect. He's one of those guys who can shoot a little bit, can play some defense, but he is insane at just getting the basket and dunking. And that's exactly what he does. Next, a card that some people may not like that he's here, but I'm leaving him. It is Sadiq Bey. Ruby Sadiq Bey that dropped is the best Ruby card in the game. 6'7", 6'10" wingspan, has crazy all-around defense, comes with like silver clamps, interceptor, gold challenger, menace, pick dodger, pogo stick, workhorse, has great shooting badges, and you can add any badge in the game if you want to. He is all-around just great. Basically everything in his stats is an 80. Has his Sadiq Bey jumper on quick, which is one of the already quicker jumpers in the game and better jumpers in the game, in my opinion. He's not gonna be the biggest cheese ball, only has the Joel dribble style, but if you're looking for a Ruby to come in and be your beast in limited, Sadiq Bey's it. Richard Jefferson, in my opinion, same story as Vince Carter, but just has a worse jumper. LeBron James, actually pretty good. LeBron doesn't move the greatest on the court. His defense isn't like the most insane, but he's just one of those jack of all trades kind of guys. And in my opinion, the LeBron jumper is slow, but it is so easy to time. Like, I was using the Diamond LeBron James, and I was not missing anything with the damn card. So LeBron's jumper is actually nice. I think it's just because he got an easy to time upper. Then we got Kawhi Leonard. You know why he's up here in the Baby Demons here. The guy has some of the best defense, if not the best defense in the game, and his jumper is crazy. He's a great 3-and-D card. Then we can finish it up with the Demons here, which has Himmy Butler, Jason Tatum, Gordon Hayward, almost said Dragic, Carmelo Anthony, John Havlicek, Scottie Pippen, Rudy Gay, Paul George, OG Anunoby, Kevin Durant, and Julius Irving, or Dr. J. So Jimmy Butler does have the normal dribble style. I think one of the only, actually the only card I think in the Demons tier with it. But the thing about Jimmy Butler is his jumper is great, has arguably better defense than Kawhi. His finishing is crazy, and he is a Galaxy Opal at this point in the year. I don't think anybody's really kind of debating with Jimmy Butler on whether or not he's like one of the best cards. Because come on, he's crazy, and he can play the shooting guard too. Honestly, if he had a pro or MJ dribble style, he would be one of the best cards in the game. Because already with like Hall of Fame challenger, clamps, glove, interceptor, menace, pick dodger, workhorse, ankle braces, he's already a little OP. Then we got Jason Tatum, probably the hardest to guard card in the game, at least in my opinion. That Jason Tatum hop step, his upper, everything about his just shooting is so damn hard to contest, and then he's also a great defender. It's tough. Gordon Hayward, probably my number one bucket getter next to De'Aaron Fox. Like, those two just go crazy. Super smooth jumper, great defense, even with gold anchors, so people kind of take it into the paint even when they shouldn't on Gordon, which is really nice. Great finisher, all around super fun. Carmelo Anthony's here because he has probably the fastest jumper on any card in the game right now. It is stupid hard to contest him, and he's a guaranteed 15 points a game. Defense is a little suspect, though. And then we got John Havlicek, one that I was a little suspect on at first. But as you can see, he does go up to a Galaxy Opal with the new Evos. I don't think it's exciting enough to go and grind any domination, but if you have them, you should Evo them, essentially. Now, what Havlicek does get is goes from 5 Hall of Fame badges up to 12, which now is pretty competitive with a lot of other cards. Gets Hall of Fame clamps, glove, gold challenger, gets silver quick first step, gets Hall of Fame catch and shoot. Unfortunate if you already boosted his catch and shoot up. Fearless, acrobat, things like that. Gets plus 74 in his stats. The only thing that's tough is he still has that basic dribble style, and his Kevin Knox jumper isn't like the most insane, but now I think he's pretty competitive and can sit up here in the top tier. Scottie Pippen, just the best all-around small forward in the game right now, aside from like, Jimmy, Rudy Gay, or not Rudy, Julius Erving, and Paul George, because Scottie's jumper is just so easy to time. It, in my opinion, is the easiest to time jumper that I've used this year. It's just, I don't know, the Q on it for me, crazy. His defense is insane. His finishing is good. He can even play make and run the point guard if you want him to. Scottie's just great. Rudy Gay up there with some of the best cards in the game. His jumper is probably the smoothest I've used. Him and J.R. Smith are just butter. The defense is solid enough if you're playing him at the power forward, and his finishing is obviously just insane. Paul George is just crazy. The Paul George jumper, compared to some other years, I don't think it's as good as it used to be. And that's just because it just had a better height. It was a little bit harder to contest, and I just kind of, I don't know, I liked it a little bit better in previous years, but he's still a 6'9", 6'11" wingspan. He has Hall of Fame limitless, clamps, glove, challenge. I mean, he's got all the key things to be crazy, and has the pro dribble style as well, so he can still speed boost. OG Anunoby, absolutely insane. I'm always a fan of OG, love the Raptors, so sometimes I can be a little bit biased for these guys, but I do think OG is actually a crazy good card, because his defense is absolutely locked down. He can still shoot it great with a pretty nice jumper. His playmaking is pretty good, and his finishing is insane. He's actually a demon. KD has the best size up escape in the game, and one of the hardest to guard dribble pull-ups in the entire game. It doesn't matter what he does anywhere else, because if you want to with KD, you can basically hold R2, and then hit back on the stick, do the size up escape, or just hit back normally, and then burst out of it and get a free layup or dunk or a foul almost every time. And then if that doesn't work, just run to the wing and take his off dribble shot to either hand, honestly, but it's better to his dominant hand, and it's automatic greens once you time it a few times, and it's so hard to contest. KD is just a cheese ball. And then Dr. J, he is one of the few dark matters that are actually available in the game right now, and Dr. J, 6'6", 6'11" wingspan, he's playing the shooting guard position, has 20 Hall of Fame badges, John Wall jumper on the normal timing, MJ dribble style, some crazy good dribbling. Let's be honest. Yeah, he should be up there. So that's it for the shooting guards. Small forwards, Jalen, what you guys think about it down in the comment section below. Like the video if you did enjoy, and subscribe if you are new. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video.